Hi there, this is Sahid with The Bloom Show, brought to you by New Bloom Solutions and Above All Flowers. Thanks for joining us today. This whole month, we've been covering the flower industry, covering wholesalers. The purpose of this show is to innovate, connect, and bloom, and help the industry bloom by connecting, by collaborating, by talking to all sectors of the flower industry. There are many different things we can learn from each other, and that's something that's super important to us as New Bloom Solutions and Above All Flowers, where we have a communication and we give the industry a voice. So today I am excited and honored to have Morey Moss, a dear friend of mine, and we've worked often together, and we work well together. But Morey Moss has been in the industry for many, many years, since he was 25 years old. He's the owner of Berkeley Florist Supply, which is about 70 to 75 years old at the moment, an amazing institution of South Florida. So it's my privilege, because I'm a flower geek, so I love to hear about the history of our industry, where we were and how we got to where we are today. And Morey Moss is a true testament to just how grit and just sticking to it and growing the flower industry has helped Berkeley stay around for so many years and really become an institution to Miami and to South Florida, as they have a very big reach within South Florida. And I could just imagine the events they did in the 60s, things like that. It's really nostalgic for me, and I love to have those conversations. So please help me introduce and welcome Mr. Morey Moss from Berkeley Florist Supply. Mr. Morey.
Hello, Sahid. How are you, sir?
How's it going, man? I'm doing very well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate you. Thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
That's awesome. So I'm super excited to talk to you, because I've heard your stories, and I've heard your stories over and over again. I love your stories, and I only hear them over and over again because I ask over and over again. But I really want to talk about your experiences and the many years you have in our industry. So let's get into it. How did you end up at 25 years old running Berkeley Florist Supply in those days? And in what year was that in reality?
Well, I graduated in University of Miami in 1962. I had a degree in accounting, and I worked for a major accounting firm in Miami Beach for 2.5 years, and wasn't very good at accounting, didn't like it. And one of the clients of the firm was a small wholesale flower company called Berkeley Florist Supply Company. I didn't know one thing about flowers. I didn't know one flower from another. I didn't know what a carnation was or anything. But I had an opportunity to buy a small business. And long story short, I did it. I bought Berkeley Florist Supply Company, small company at the time. There were about 5 traditional wholesalers in Miami. There were no major imports, no South American flowers. And we had a very, very strong flower market. But I had to learn the industry, because I literally did not know anything. So I got into Berkeley in 1965. We had 4 employees, 2 drivers, and we built up a business since then. This is my 56th year. I've been through 56 Mother's Days, which is a miracle. We've never closed, other than the virus last year, for 6 weeks. We've never missed a payroll. In 56 years, a weekly payroll, which is probably our greatest accomplishment. We brought our whole staff back together again. I'm very happy things are going well again. And thank God we seem to be doing well.
That's great. And tell us how the industry was back then in the 50s and the 60s. How was Miami? Because Miami, for many people, if you do or do not know, Miami's the mouth of the river for the flower industry. So we get about 80% of the flowers that come in through North America come in through Miami. So Miami's an interesting concept, an interesting market. So how was it back then, and how it is today versus how it is today?
Back then, the competition was only between 5 of wholesalers. And as I said, all our flowers came in, mainly were domestic flowers. We grew a lot of stuff in Florida and California, and very little imports other than Holland, the Dutch market. but it was a very competitive market then. And we had a piece of probably every flower party project in Dade or Broward County back then. If we didn't get the whole order, we had a major piece of it. And it was terrific. We were working 5 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, 6.5 days, about 6.5 days a week, actually. We never closed back then. In those days, we opened from 5 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. We opened Sunday from 7 till noon, every day of the year. Christmas, we were always, it was crazy. I always say, I think we were finding a cure for cancer, but it was just a crazy industry then. That was the culture at the time. That's what we did. And it was very difficult. It was very, very hard, labor-intensive work. We put everything in water that came in, nothing stored in boxes. Now it's changed dramatically because we get many more boxes of flowers. But it was a very, very tough business back then. And, we've progressed a lot since then.
And so Terry Smith, I used to actually work with her. She says, I still have a Berkeley floral knife from 35 years ago. So that is a relic, Terry, an antique. But she still has a Berkeley floral knife. I guess she did a branding of floral knives, and she has it from 35 years ago. So
it was Victorinox knives. I visited the factory in Eibach, Swiss, in Switzerland. It was an incredible experience just to visit that factory. And we had our names put on their knives. They were very sharp knives, I'll tell you. The first one I cut my finger very badly. But the fabulous knives, we still sell them.
That's great. And so tell us, you were talking earlier about like the roses. How was purchasing roses back then in the 50s, 60s, and 70s? What was the process of getting a box of flowers back then?
Wow. The major difference now and then is when I started, we had maybe 10 varieties of roses. Now we have 200 varieties of roses. I don't even know most of them anymore, but they're gorgeous, actually. But we used to ship only from California. We'd ship, as I said, 1 box a night, generally, with back then a few bunches of sweetheart roses on top of the box. But now we get, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have 50, 60 boxes of roses. But all the roses then came from California. There were really no other domestic good quality roses back then.
Morey, what was the varieties? Do you remember the varieties from back then?
Yeah, we had a white, we had a yellow, we had a pink, a red, and an orange. There weren't 20 varieties of white like we have now. It's a totally different ballgame. It's really amazing, and that's one of the great improvements in the industry, because the quality of roses and the varieties are just fantastic. These bicolor roses you see now are breathtaking. I mean, it's something that God created, and it's just a joy to see them. I'll come in. We'll get fresh roses during the weekend. We'll get a new variety we never saw before. It's really a miracle, and the quality of roses now are so much better than in the past because shelf life has increased tremendously. The size of the roses have increased tremendously because of the long daylight in Ecuador, and also I guess in Colombia. But the quality of roses are a major change in the flower industry, and that's created a lot of interest and a lot of sales. Shelf life, I mean, you can keep a rose in your house sometimes 10, 15 days if you get it correctly and take care of it. So that's tremendous for the industry. When shelf life has increased the way it has, it makes flowers much more valuable. And, people don't have to go out and buy a book or a box of candy. They want to buy flowers. And that's critical in our industry.
Yeah, that's really neat that you say that. It's just varieties change and the quality also increased. What other things have you seen that have really impacted the floral industry since those days?
The biggest changes in the industry, number one, is the advent of Bogota, Colombia. When they started shipping roses in the late 1960s, they started with chrysanthemums, and then they started growing carnations and other flowers. And that became a tremendous change in industry for us because it allowed us to sell more boxes of flowers. Prices were cheaper, and the quality became terrific. It took a few years, but after they got their technicians there and got things in order and got their shipping and selling correctly, it became just a fabulous improvement in our industry. And then, of course, it graduated to other countries in South America, as we talked about, Peru, Chile, and in Colombia, Bogota, Medellin. And this, to me, has been the most important change in industry that I can remember. But after that, we were getting flowers now from all over the world. There's so many farms all over the world producing good products. So we always have flowers available from somewhere. If something is out of season now, we can most likely get it from somewhere else in the world. And and the quality, shipping, and it's all been a tremendous impact on our industry, and in a very, very good way.
And how did COVID impact you, and how were you able to make it through it? So what changes did you see before and after COVID, and how was that situation for you as a family-owned business, right? A cell-phone business.
COVID created a nightmare in the floral industry because there was no need for flowers. There were no weddings. There were no gatherings. There were no big need for no parties. So the flower business died in that sense for about a year. But we survived, interestingly enough, because people wanted flowers in their home. People came in and bought flowers for their home. Flower shops that stayed open made cheaper arrangements, sent from one friend to another friend thinking of you. But they made up the price in volume. So that was a very, very good aspect of the industry. But I think if it wasn't for people wanting flowers in their home because they were home, and so many people appreciate flowers, that's what's really kept us going. I mean, we closed for 6 weeks. We had a cooler full of beautiful flowers that we had to just give away to hospitals. So we called our flower shops to come in and take whatever you want. We have to close. We didn't know how long we were going to close. It was a very depressing time in a sense, because never in our lives did we not know what was going to happen in the future with our lives like this COVID created. And we closed for 6 weeks. We opened up before Mother's Day last year, and the business started picking up again. And now, thank God, it's really gotten good again. And the industry it's an amazing issue, the floral industry. It seems to have survived everything. Flowers and liquor have survived depressions and have continued on forever. It's really a blessing. And, as I've said for many times, and I tell my associates, we're blessed to be in such a beautiful industry. All we do is see beautiful flowers every day, and we make people happy. So, I mean, what could be a better job for somebody? The best job, the most important job is a doctor. They make people well. But we make people happy. And I think that's terribly significant.
That's a good way to say it, and you always say that, and I know you mean that. So that's a good thing, and that's what we should appreciate in our industry, is that we do have a reason we're doing this, is to make people happy and make moments. So that's super cool you say that.
Sure.
So Morey, one thing I think that's important to get across is companies sometimes change, and sometimes situations like COVID, it makes them change more or use tools. How has social media and marketing and websites and all that helped you through this COVID situation? How has that been? Has that been important to you, is the question?
Social media has put us more in front of the public than almost anything we can do, because you do it every day. You're in people's faces every day, and they're more aware of flowers, and it attracts more people to us. People that are doing individual weddings themselves, individual people are more into the industry now, and it just puts us in their face every day, and it's been a tremendous increase in our business because people learn to appreciate flowers. They can see what's available. They can call. They can get deliveries. They can walk in. They see our coolers online, and it's just been a beautiful addition and a fabulous help to our business. I know Berkeley has increased tremendously with the social media. I think people, she said, I didn't know about you, and I saw you on this, and I saw you on Art Deco Drive the other night, and it's just been a way to get out there. We could advertise in a magazine, we could advertise this and that, but social media is every day, and it's just been a fantastic asset to our business.
And what's the one tip you would give anybody that's deciding not to do social media and saying, we don't need that because our business is doing great, why change it now? What would be your tip for anybody like that, if there is a tip?
It's not a matter of changing. You're adding to it, Sahid. You have an opportunity to increase your business. I mean, if you have more business than you can handle, then right, you don't need it. But who has that? I always said, years ago, I said, geez, I'm so busy, I can't do anymore. Then one summer we lost a lot of business. So I said, I'll never say that again. I'll find a way to handle more business. Social media is definitely a way to get more business. I mean, there's no question about it. You're showing your business every day, all the time, talking to people, letting people know what's available, and teaching them how to do things in the floral industry. It's fabulous. It's fabulous.
That's awesome too.
And you, Sahid, who I've known for a number of years, happens to do a great job, and we are very grateful that you are working with us and helping us to keep this boat afloat, so to speak.
Wasn't looking for that, but was really trying to appreciate that more, and thank you for the opportunity. But was really looking to show that even other generations of the flower industry are starting to see the value of what social media is, and the investment into social media and how it can pay off in dividends in the future. And that's for sure. We've seen it with Berkeley tenfold. Just the relationships we've built and collaborating with the florists has really been a big part. And also not forgetting about the other type of florists that are out there, are the smaller ones that are trying to get their businesses going. That is a market, and that's a target market. So
very important. Very important now, because there are so many more people interested in the flower business, which is so important to help perpetuate it. And the more the merrier. Do a good job with flowers, and people will want your service. And that makes the difference between a designer doing a party for somebody or just walking into a food store and buying a bunch of flowers. If someone can produce beautiful arrangements and do beautiful parties, then they're going to get business. It's a lot of opportunities out there. Not just the large companies that are doing these things, but smaller people can do it also.
Yeah, it's numbers. It's a numbers game. So it's building. So I have a curious, fun question. What kind of, because we are in Miami, right? So Miami is almost like an LA, and it's becoming that. It's becoming much bigger and bigger, and the tech industry is coming down. Has any celebrity ever gone to Berkeley?
Well, for years we did. Whenever Elizabeth Taylor came into town, through her flower shop, we would have to bring in, originally it was called sterling silver roses. It's a lavender rose, and she was very big on lavender. So we always had to bring roses in for her. And we've done many celebrity weddings through the years. I remember when Chris Everett originally got married in Fort Lauderdale, we brought her flowers in through a flower shop in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm sure we've done many other, had to do with many other parties, Super Bowls and crazy things. But it's been very exciting. It's been really fun to have been a part of these deals that have gone on here. Crazy things are, I've had a number of flower shops that would pre-make things, put them in a refrigerated truck, and the night before the function, the truck would freeze, and they'd lose all their flowers, and they'd call me in the middle of the next morning, got to open up, we need flowers. So we come and open up. And that's happened a number of times. So it's been a very interesting career in many facets of it. And I'm just blessed that I have been able to do it for 56 years.
56 years, man. So, Morey, what's your favorite flower?
I think the varieties of roses are a real turn on. These bicolor roses to me are the most beautiful things I think we have. We used to get these multicolored tulips. These French tulips are gorgeous. I mean, the lilies are gorgeous now. The selection of lilies, there's so many beautiful flowers now. Anemones have come back. Ranunculus have come back. These were fancy flowers years ago. We used to ship to Palm Beach. But now they're being produced around the world. They're fairly reasonable now. They used to be very expensive. And I mean, just a multitude of varieties. If you walk into a cooler, it's a garden of flowers from around the world. It's breathtaking. I mean, I enjoy it myself. That's the biggest turn on to me now, is to find new varieties of flowers, find great quality, and that's what really keeps me going. And I still get it. It's funny. I didn't know one flower from another. I wouldn't have known what a carnation was 56 years ago. But now, I mean, it's still a turn on to me to find all of these beautiful flowers in the world. I've traveled a good portion of the world looking for flowers, but we have these international flower shows now, like in South America, California, whatever, and they bring together all these variety of flowers, and you can just meet so many farms and start shipping so many beautiful flowers. It's a breathtaking industry, and I really, that's the thing that turns me on every day. And I tell my people that are putting flowers in water, geez, those are beautiful. Where do they come from? It's still very, very interesting. If you just come in here and walk through the coolers, you're going to be amazed. It's really, if you like flowers, and I don't know too many people don't like flowers, but just to come in here and walk through the coolers, it's quite an experience. Of course, we have a large supply department also. We have all supplies in the world. We have 10,000 feet of floral display, plus a warehouse behind that. So between our flowers and our supplies, we can open your flower shop tomorrow with everything you need.
Infomercial. Let me take a question here. Or not a question, a comment. We are proud that Berkeley, to be a part of our customers. We had a hard time with the pandemic, but they were always there. Thank you, Sunfresh Farms, Guatemala. So they wanted to say thank you, Morey. That's Lizzie Montero saying thank you for supporting them as they supported you during the pandemic. And that was really important to everybody, was paying bills. that was super important. And then Danny from Miami Flower Market. Say again, Morey?
We pay. It's funny, we lost a tremendous amount of flowers after the pandemic, and I paid every bill. I didn't hurt any grower. All our accounts payable were paid, and I'm very proud of that, because it was not the grower's fault. And I understand some people didn't pay their bills, and I feel very bad about that. But no, you got to be honorable in this business, and I think that's kept us going. We're not the biggest company in the world, but we're well known all around the world, and that's because we treat our growers and vendors, correctly. And I'm very proud of that also.
Awesome. And then we have here Danny from Miami Flower Market. Hi, Morey and Sahid. So he's just stopping by to say hi. Hi, Danny. Give me a holler. So, Morey, thank you so much. The last thing of this, I didn't prepare you for it, but what I usually do is, because I like to make this opportunity to network and collaborate. Is there anything or anybody or a service or anything you can use help with connecting to? Or anybody, even the president, whatever it is, but it's just an opportunity to give a shout out to anybody you would be interested in connecting with in the future. And if there's nobody, there's nobody.
If there's anybody we would be interested in connecting.
And connecting with, yeah, someone you want to meet, someone in the flower industry you've heard about and you've never, gotten to meet them in person, or someone you would want to talk to, or maybe you're looking for a certain cool flower that you don't know where to find it.
No, right now our sources are fabulous. I just have great respect for some of the people in our industry.
There you go.
Red Kennecott in Chicago is a super guy. I mean, we have so many people. I belong to International Flower Distributors, which is a group of about 18 wholesalers that are just fabulous wholesalers in the country. I have all the respect in the world for them. We share information. We try to do better things for the industry. I just think in our industry, our manufacturers, Smithers, Oasis, Syndicate Sale, all of these big companies, Design Master Paint, these are fabulous companies, they're fabulous people in our industry. And they keep us going. I'm very grateful for them over the years. I mean, I've shipped from some of the same people for 50 years. So that's really my greatest appreciation. And that's who I would praise and like to talk to as much as possible.
And then David Kaplan says, let me pop him up here. David Kaplan says, congrats on all the years you have served South Florida. And,
David has become one of the deans of the industry. I knew him as a young kid. It's amazing what he has. He's got a mind of a computer, that guy. He's a sponge. He knows everything all over the world. If I have a question about something, I always know I can call David. He operated one of the biggest wholesalers in the country for years. The guy's a machine. He's just an amazing guy. He comes up with great product. You make a one phone call. You call David Kaplan. You might find something in the world that you couldn't find. He's just amazing. I'm glad you're associated with him now, Sahid. He is one hell of a guy. I just got off the phone with him a little while ago, actually. It's funny.
I know how to pick him.
Yeah, he's a special. He had a special uncle that developed Fall River, and he knew how to pick his family, David.
Yeah.
Got a lovely wife.
Good job, David.
He's got a lovely wife, too.
Yes, I've had the pleasure of meeting you. So Morey, again, thank you so much for walking us down memory lane and for sharing your perspective of the flower industry, where it's been and where it's going. So again, I truly appreciate it, and I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for having me. Thank you for helping me, and let's keep it going.
Yeah, appreciate you, Morey. I'm gonna see you later. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ray. Bye-bye.
So as always, I always get excited talking to people like Morey, just because those stories you hear make me appreciate everything so much more. And we could always learn from our past experience and then change that for our future. So it's super important to have these conversations with people like Morey, because it really puts things into perspective and just gives it a edge that I enjoy for many years. So again, thank you everybody for joining. Next month, please join us. We're going to have a couple people on the Bloom Show as well. Remember, the Bloom Show is here to innovate, connect, and bloom. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. Super important to keep everything going. So please subscribe, like, and share. And if you need anything from me, Sahid at New Bloom Solutions, also newbloomsolutions.com, here to help in any which way. And if you need to email Berkeley's help at BFS Miami, if any way you want to get in touch with Morey, or you have some anything like that, just reach out to us or reach out to Morey, and that'll be great. So again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and thank you for tuning in. Please remember, subscribe. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.